Tales of the Minibus. So, going to a special needs school, Tristan has always got in a minibus. And over the years, I've found that to be such a fantastic provision. And I'm so grateful that that has been provided to him. Um, I would say it's been so beneficial because, we're in a world, I'm sure he feels so dependent on other people. The minibus arrives, often there might be music playing, there's other children on the bus, there's somebody also supporting the children in the back of the bus, and there's a real sort of social atmosphere. And so for me, I really feel that it supports his feelings of independence, being able to go on the minibus. But so the first few years, that was all fine. I could access provision for him because we were living outside of the target area. I think you have to be a specific number of miles away from the school. Many years ago now, we then moved to what would be deemed as closer to the school. And so as he's gotten older, that's meant that the council have always seen that really he's not appropriate for travel assistance. And so every year I have to do the same ritual, and I've done it for years on end. And that is the time comes around to apply for the transport. I apply for it, saying why I think it will be really good for him, great for his independence, his self-esteem, social connections. Also, the reality is he does not have road awareness. He is very vulnerable. So in terms of travelling on public transport, even in a taxi, really, if he was upset and emotionally dysregulated, there could be quite a lot of difficulties with that. So I have to say all these things, provide, what other specific risks he would pose, how is best to communicate with him. I'll mention the EHCP from school, and every year after it's declined, I then have to go forward and apply for a stage 1 appeal, sort of countering the claims. Because the other thing that's always interested to me is that the focus with travel is always on the specific child with the disability, and it doesn't really seem to take into account other children. So obviously I've got 3, and this year I've had 3 children at 3 separate schools. So it should be questioning the reality of how I would take 3 children to 3 separate schools with 3 different types of timetables and things going on, and also get to my job working full time every day. It feels like a big ask, I would imagine. I know that some parents do it, but in all reality, I don't have a driver's license, I don't have a car, and so how would I attain this? So in the past, I've been to a meeting with professionals, so the stage 1 appeal has then meant I had to attend a sort of online meeting, and that was, I have to say, it was quite strange because it was just me and literally a panel of professionals who I hadn't really met before. It felt like it was a lot, like maybe 5 or 6, let's just say, and little old me. And so they were asking me these questions, which sometimes when you make things sound very cold, it's a bit like being in a court of law. It's like really hard to answer. Your case and how important, it is for Tristan to have transport. And I did my utter best, but I do remember when I was interviewed by this panel, bursting into tears during the actual appeal, because I was trying to illustrate the difference the transport would make to Tristan. And at that time, he'd recently changed schools, and so actually spoken about Katie Price's son Harvey and how um, the college transition had been for him, and Tristan had actually watched this documentary about Harvey countless times, which helped him to prepare for the next stage, and for some reason that upset me and I cried, which I was really pissed off with myself about. But anyway, it's come round again. I've made the application, filled it in to the best of my ability, said all of what needs to be said. It's been declined. And as soon as I've got the decline, I have now asked for a stage 1 appeal, CC'd in the headmaster of Tristan's school, CC'd in the social worker. And every year the council also suggests something called travel training, and it feels a bit like, you know, have I, as a parent, sort of been remiss somehow in teaching Tristan how to cross the road? Have I not thought of that? Have I not thought of crossing the road down into really small steps? Have I not done that? And isn't it interesting, my other 2 sons have no issues with crossing the road. Anyway, they always insist on this travel training. To be honest, Tristan's school also see it as this unnecessary hurdle, because they too could provide the information to the council, really letting them know what Tristan's capabilities are or not, and his vulnerabilities, and they can either concur with me as a parent or not on that. Anyway, the game continues. I have made the stage 1 appeal, and yeah, I'll let you know how it all goes.